Hello everyone, it's Spurs Radio 96 here, and welcome to the third episode of the FIFA 18 Zenit St. Petersburg career mode. We begin today's episode of our first home game of the season. Well, what a test it will be, our first game. We will be facing the reigning champions, Spartak Moscow, here at our new home, the Kestovsky Stadium, our first ever game at the Kestovsky Stadium. And the 56,000 capacity crowd have turned up in their thousands to cheer us on. And wow, hopefully we can get a victory over one of our nearest rivals, I'm sure, that for the league title in the Russian Premier League. If you haven't checked out the last episode, I suggest you do so. As you can see there, Sebastian Druzy got a hat-trick in the previous match. He was the star of the last episode, where we got off to a fine start, where we won away against two promoted clubs, FC Khabarovsk and FC Tosno, 5-1 and 4-0 respectively. Go and check that out. That is a goal feast for you to enjoy. As you can see by the lineups today, exactly the same lineup for Zenit St. Pete for the team today that I used in the previous episode. Why would I change it when we're on a good run of form at the moment? And yeah, fantastic. Of course, Spartak Moscow, the biggest club, the most successful club in Russia, 22 league titles, that is a record, and 13 Russian Cups, a combined total of 35 trophies. And with teams like Semedov and Proms as well, I don't know his first name, and Kevin Morales as well, they signed. They're a very strong team indeed, and they started on the front foot coming up to the 26th minute. Tigrev gives a brilliant pass to Semedov, and then he leaves it for Kuzev. Got Kuzev. Kuzev actually defends it. I don't know who actually heads it over, but Kuzev actually heads it over, and it will be Spartak Moscow's first corner, just coming up to past the 28th minute. Semedov with the corner, and Morales heads it in, but it's a penalty. A penalty has been given for Spartak Moscow. Parada seems to be the culprit. He seems to be the culprit for the reason why the penalty is being given. And why is that to be? Why is it? Did he pull someone down? We're about to find out. Challenging Morales for the ball, and he handballs it just about. You can't see the ball touching his hand, but his left hand seems to be up in the air there and touched the ball, and it's a penalty for Spartak Moscow. Semedov takes it, and the keeper goes the wrong way, and Spartak Moscow take the lead at the Kestovsky Stadium. A disastrous start for us in the career mode for our home campaign. We conceded the first goal of the last episode against SK Khabarovsk. We've only gone and done it again, haven't we? That's not the start we would want in front of our thousands of adoring fans. Not good there at all. A completely inexplicable mistake from Parades there. Handball there, no question about it. We couldn't save it. Lunev couldn't save it, and we're 1-0 down. And that's that's just made the job even harder now. Spartak Moscow, the reigning champions, lead in our backyard, and that is certainly not what we want. And we're going to have to amp up the pressure. And the 41st minute, so Luis has a chance, and Lunev saves. Now we need to go forward here if we have any chance of getting something before half-time. Witzel passes it to Kokorin, and now he's laid it to Druzy, and we can go on a counter-attack. It's 2 against 2 here. Druzy's running with pace, so is Kokorin. Kokorin's in the middle, and Kokorin scores! Kokorin scores the first home goal for Zenit St. Petersburg at the new Kestovsky Stadium, and it's 1-1 just before half-time. And Zenit St. Petersburg are level. They've pushed Spartak Moscow ever since they've scored the penalty. We've been pushing and trying our very best to get a goal before half-time, and the fans are in jubilation, and so they should be. The defence couldn't keep up with the pace of Druzy or Alexandra Kokorin, and it was a simple pass from Druzy to Kokorin to kick it into an empty net on his side as the keeper no chance to react. And Zenit St. Petersburg are level. Just before half-time, Kokorin has got his 4th goal in the Russian Premier League. Our two strikers are in lethal form at the moment, and we're only on game 3. Goodness me. It just shows you how powerful we are. And we're coming up to added time, and they've given it away. Spartak have given it away, and Kokorin's on the attack. Druzy's in the box. Kokorin sees him. He's going to cross in towards Druzy. Oh, it's hit the bar. It's hit the bar. Druzy can't believe it, and it's half-time. What a time that would have been to take the lead seconds before for half-time whistle. We were 1-0 down a few minutes ago. We could have been 2-1 up, but we didn't, and it wasn't to be the case. But either way, half-time 1-1. We ended the half very well there, and I'm very, very pleased with that 1-1 against Spartak Moscow. As you can see, we're going to look around the grounds. Krasnodar lead 2-0 against FC Ural. We're coming on to the second half, the 58th minute. We were still pushing, and look at this. Kevin Morales, the new signing, comes off for Quincy Proms. That's it, their best player, Spartak Moscow's best player, and I'm sure he's going to prove to be a threat, but he didn't prove to be. We were trying everything we can, pushing them hard up the pitch, really containing them up the pitch. Kokorin leaves it to Witzel. Witzel scores, and Zenit St. Petersburg have taken the lead against the reigning champions. The best start to the second half possible. We have been pushing them really, really hard ever since we scored the equaliser. We've been the best team on the pitch by far, pushing them up in their half, causing problems, creating chances. And Witzel scores his first goal since returning to Zenit St. Petersburg. Kokorin lays it to Witzel, and Witzel with a fantastic strike. And Witzel scores, and Zenit St. Petersburg are in front of their adoring crowd for the first time. Tremendous. 2-1, just past 68 minutes. We come on to 83 minutes. And Spartak Moscow were trying their best, but now we've got a chance here to go forward and maybe create another chance. Shatov, first time he's really been in the game. He's been pretty quiet for most of it. Shatov then runs and passes it to Druzy. And there's space for Rigoni. The defence. Oh my goodness me. What happened to Spartak's defence for Rigoni? He was in acres of space. And it's now 3-1. To Spartak Moscow, and that is to Zenit St. Petersburg, and that is surely 3 points for Zenit St. Petersburg, and we're going to defeat one of our the first of our main rivals in the Russian Premier League title race, that's for sure. And our first game at our new stadium, the Kestovsky Stadium, will end surely in a victory for Zenit St. Petersburg. That is what we like to see. His second goal of the season for Rigoni. Wonderful strike on his left foot, and it's 3-1. We're coming on to added time here, and Shatov's going forward again. He's proving absolutely lethal all of a sudden, and he's still got the ball. He got tripped, but he's still got the ball. He's still going, and he's going to take a strike. Oh, it's a supreme finish from Shatov. He ran nearly 40-odd yards, and no one could stop him. And it's 4-1 to Zenit St. Petersburg. Spartak Moscow have collapsed the last few minutes. They've almost given up. And Zenit St. Petersburg are now 4-1 up. I wouldn't believe this was coming, especially when we conceded the penalty. I thought it was all going to go downhill, but it hasn't proven to be. And Shatov, who's been quite quiet, he's been out of the game pretty much. Only in the last few minutes he's picked it up. And the defence have fallen to sleep, particularly the midfielders were meant to be covering Shatov, but Shatov with a magnificent strike and magnificent pace ran all the way, and he's got his first goal of the Russian Premier League, and it's going to be a 4-1 victory against the reigning champions. And Spartak Moscow's season does not get any better than this, and the final whistle has gone, and Zenit St. Petersburg have won the first game, the first home match of the season at the Kestovsky Stadium. The fans will be delighted with the second half performance. Spartak Moscow players on the floor, they can't believe they've blown it. The reigning champions have been given an emphatic beating by Spartak Moscow. I mean, to be fair, the performance of Spartak Moscow certainly doesn't reflect the result. They've been far more competitive, but they've just broken down. They gave up in the end pretty much, and it ends in a 4-1 victory against the reigning champions. Let's go on to our second and final game of the episode, where we will be up against FC Ural away from home. And I'm sure it's going to be another tough challenge away from home, as it is in most FIFA career modes. But we were away from home against two promoted clubs, of course, and we beat them very, very well. As you can see there, we are top of the league by 2 points of FC Krasnodar. We have 9 points. FC Ural are fifth, I think, with 7 or 6 points. I didn't read it quick enough. But yeah, they should be a harder team to play against than the other two teams we played against away from home. But as you can see there, FC Ural have only scored 2 goals, the worst in the Russian Premier League, compared to us, who have only conceded 2 goals, which is the best in the Russian Premier League. We're going to look at the team, and yep, as you can see, exactly the same. And with the team in the goal scoring form that they are, scoring 5 against Khabarovsky, 4 against Tosno, and 4 against the reigning champions. It could be a landslide of a victory, maybe. And it started definitely like we were going to have a big scoreline because coming up to the 6th minute, and he couldn't cope. And look at this, Kokorin turns and scores, and Alexander Kokorin scores again in the episode and leads for Zenit St. Petersburg and runs to the travelling supporters to celebrate in front of them. And just 7 minutes in, and Zenit St. Petersburg lead. Ural just completely switched off, almost like they froze, just like statues almost. And Kokorin just, well, good strike on his weak foot as well, because he just lead up to the build-up. Good pass from Witzman to Kokorin. Look at that, he just completely dribbles around him, 360 almost, and took the defender that was marking him out of the game. Good strike on his weak foot as well. I thought he was going to go wide, but it's gone in. And Alexandra Kokorin scores again his fifth goal. His fifth goal of the Russian Premier League. And this league season can't get off to a better start. Looks like we're going to get off to it's 4 wins out of 4, I think, if we keep it up. And we're coming up to the 14th minute here, and Ural just didn't pose a threat in the opening moments of the game. Kuzev got the ball, and he's running. He couldn't strike there, and he gives it to Druzy, then towards Kokorin, and Kokorin scores again. Wonderful play, wonderful passing there from Kuzev. He was going to have a strike, it seemed, but he was crowded out by the defence. And then he passed it to Druzy, and look at this from Druzy. Wonderful pass. And Kokorin scores yet again, this time on his right foot, his preferred foot of course. And the start to this game can't get any better. We're 2-0 up inside 17 minutes, and Kokorin's got his 6th now. It could be a landslide here by the looks of it. Dear oh dear, Ural just not posing anything really in the opening sections of the opening moments of the game here. But we come up to half time, and that was it really. I mean, after that FC Ural woke up then and defended quite well actually, and proved difficult to break down. So I'm sure the supporters of FC Ural will be pleased that they didn't concede any more in the first half, but at least they showed a bit of spirit and determination to keep us out from scoring goals, and it was 2-0 at half time. We come on to the 49th minute here of the second half. We start just like we did really. Rigoni with the cross, and it was Kokorin is off the bar, didn't go across the line, and I think it was Druzy there or Kuzev that had a strike, and a goalkeeper Godzor had to make a save. It looked like Didn't was going in, but then that's it. That's the end of the game. Tosno played really, really well in the second half. They were a different team compared to the first half. They defended really well. They didn't create many chances, mind you, but they defended very, very well. Were very organised, and they frustrated us. And I expected to score more. I expected to score more goals. Not going to lie. I mean, after the run we've been on, scoring 5 against Khabarovsky, 4 against Tosno, and 4 again against the reigning champions. But this time, Ural proved harder than I thought, and it ends FC Ural 0, Zenit St. Petersburg 2. But it doesn't make any difference. Look at the league table. The perfect start we have. Top of the league. 4 games played, 4 straight wins, 15 goals scored, 2 conceded, 12 points. You can't get better than that. Dynamo Moscow continue their good start. They are second with 11 points, just 1 point behind us, 3 wins and 2 draws. FC Krasnodar are third with 10 points. CSKA Moscow up to 4th with 8 points. Then it's followed by Lokomotiv and Spartak Moscow, both on 7 points. Then from 7th all the way to 10th, we have FC Tosno, FC Ural, Rubik Kazan, FC Rostov, all on 6 points. And then the bottom 6 there, looking quite interesting. FC UEFA, how do you say UEFA 11th with 5 points. Also with Anzi Makalela, also on with 5 points. Arsenal Tula are 13th with 3 points. Akmak Gromzy are 14th with 3 points. I can't say the word. Amkar Perm, that's it. We are 15th with 1 point, and SKA Khabarovsky still can't get off to the perfect. Can't pick up any points. There's Donstead last with no points, 12 goals conceded, 4 straight defeats, and just 2 goals scored. Oh dear, looking like relegation for them if there was a second division in the Russian league. Oh dear, never mind. only upwards for them, that's for sure. Get some points and maybe a victory soon. We come on to the preview for the next episode, and we will be up against strugglers Akhmat Gronzi, I think that's how you say it, Gronzi, and hopefully we can pick up 3 points. I'm sure the secondary team that will be in use for the first time, and I'll be interested to see how they play. And then the second game of the episode, where we will be against Amkar Perm, and I'm sure that may be a landslide of a victory as well. So I want to say thank you very much for watching. See you next time for episode 4 of the Zenit St. Petersburg career mode. What a cracker of a season it's turning out to be.